Hello and welcome once again to another reading session as we continue to read the book Make Today Count by John C. Maxwell. Now, before we go into reading the next chapter, I would like to apologize. Yesterday, I could not upload another reading session because it was Sunday. I just take one day as a day of rest, and that happens to be yesterday. But I decided not to get into any kind of reading or recording, just to give a small break my mind to get into a place of rest. So, well, we are back again and we continue our reading session. Now, having said that, I would like to also share with you. I was just reading this, or I was just watching this particular video on YouTube that was called "How Reading Changes the Way Your Brain Works." I will be leaving this link in the description below the video or the audio, as you can see it, and you'd be amazed to see how reading is really not natural, like vision or speech. Reading is basically a choice. It basically repurposes our existing neural circuits, which is originally meant for vision or auditory processing, and it helps us to basically engage various aspects of our brain. Scientifically, even reading is really something that's quite amazing in what it does to our brain. It says that it engages all four lobes of the cortex. The brain structure and connectivity change depending on the language system used. For example, if you're reading in Chinese, called the logographic system, it relies heavily on visual memory and association areas compared to alphabet-based language. So, even language study, it really impacts our minds a lot. So, again, I continue to emphasize read, read a book. And if some of you are there who continue to read this with me, let's say pick another book after this. Read every day. Make it a goal to read n number of books. It's your decision, but keep on reading on a daily basis. The two books that I read on a daily basis are for sure. One is the Bible. I read it on a daily basis, and the second is this book at the moment, that is Make Today Count. So I'd encourage you, go for it. Don't stop for anything. All right, let's go into the chapter today. Chapter 7, finances. Very important. Let's start. When I was growing up, I was obvious very early. It was obvious very early that my brother Larry and I had very different attitudes toward money. We were complete opposites. As a kid, all Larry wanted to do was work and make money. All I wanted to do was play with my friends. He spent his summers working, I spent my summers shooting hoops. He saved his money, I had nothing to save. When Larry was 16 years old, he bought himself a nice car with his own money, a 4-year-old Ford. I didn't have a car until I graduated from college. It was an old beat-up Ford Falcon, and guess from whom I borrowed the money to buy it? From Larry, and from my younger sister, Trish. When I was studying for the ministry, I realized I was choosing a profession in which I would not make a lot of money. I didn't mind that because I was doing what I believed I was called to do and what would be personally fulfilling. But I also recognized that when a person has no money, he has few options. In 1985, Margaret and I made a decision. We will sacrifice today so we can have options tomorrow. From then on, we've determined to live by this financial formula: 10% to church or charity, 10% to investments, 80% to living expenses. Around the same time, our friend Tom Phillip offered us a wonderful opportunity to invest in one of his retirement centers. We gladly accepted. For several years, we have not only continued to put 10% of our income into investments, but when those investments have made money, instead of spending it, We have rolled it over into other investments. Over time, our money has been building, and the older Margaret and I get, the more options we have as a result. Let's move to the first section, making the decision to earn and properly manage finances daily. If you desire to have options, yet you have not done a good job of earning and properly managing your finances daily, then put yourself in position to make a good decision concerning finances by doing the following. Okay, let's enter the first point. Put the value of things into perspective. A husband and wife attended a county fair where a man in an old biplane was giving rides for $50. The couple wanted to ride, but they thought the pilot's price was too high. They tried negotiating to get him to lower the price, offering $50 for them both, but he wouldn't budge. Finally, the pilot made them an offer. You pay me the whole $100 and I'll take you up, he said. And if you don't say a single word during the flight, I'll give you back all your money. They agreed, and the couple got into the plane. Up they went, and the pilot proceeded to do every aerial maneuver he knew, diving, looping, rolling, and flying upside down. When the plane landed, the pilot said to the husband, "Congratulations. Here's your $100. You didn't say a word." "Nope," answered the husband, "but I almost did when my wife fell out." It's a hooky story, but it directs us to a truth about our culture. People tend to value money and things over what's really important in life. Other people. French historian and political scientist Alexis de Tocqueville, I don't know how to pronounce Tocqueville or Tocqueville. Well, we will probably find out. Or if any one of you know how to pronounce it, please feel free to do that. Remarked about the United States that he knew of. No other country where love of money has such a grip on men's hearts. Remarkably, he wrote that more than 100 years ago, I wonder what he would say if he were alive today. To know whether your attitude about money and possessions is what it should be, ask yourself these following 5 questions. Am I preoccupied with things? Am I envious of others? Do I find my personal value in possessions? Do I believe that money will make me happy? Do I continually want more? Am I preoccupied with things? Depends. What things are we talking about? So I'm not very clear about this question. Be preoccupied with money, not so much. Getting things I used to, but now I know what I need, and I know the difference between what I need and what I want. So trying to work on that. Am I envious of others? At times, at times when I see others, doing much great or getting something, I feel I'm envious, and I'm still working on that aspect as well. Do I find my personal value in possessions? Yeah, I used to. I used to find my value in personal possessions a lot. Sometimes it just does come up in my mind, here and there, but it's quite less than before. Do I believe that money will make me happy? No, I don't believe money will make me happy. In fact, I feel like money makes me miserable, but that's me. Do I continually want more? Well, not in the sense of greed, but sometimes when I think about my health situation, like I am a diabetic, my son's education, some of the most basic things like my parents and their health and their care. I wish I had a little bit more money than what I have today, and I don't have a lot. So yeah, these are 5 good questions, but I'm sure there are many others. If you answered yes to one or more of these questions, you need to do some soul searching. Billy Graham rightly points out, if a person gets his attitude toward money straight, it will help straighten out almost every other area of his life. Materialism is a mindset. There's nothing wrong with possessing money or nice things. Likewise, there's nothing wrong with living modestly. Materialism is not about possession, it's an obsession. I've known materialistic people with no money and non-materialistic people who possess lots of money. Haven't you? Yeah, yeah, that's true. Very true. Second, recognize your season of life. Not every phase of life is the same, nor should we try to make it that way. Ideally, a person's life should follow a pattern where the main focus goes from learning to earning to returning. Here's what I mean about each phase. Learn. When you're young, your focus should be on exploring your talents, discovering your purpose, and learning your trade. For many people, this phase occurs during their teens and 20s. Although a few trailblazers do it earlier and some late bloomers don't have things worked out until well into their 30s or later, the exact timing isn't important. What matters is that you accept that there is a phase of life where learning is your primary objective and that you shouldn't take shortcuts to financial gain and miss the big picture of your life. Earn. If you're on track with your purpose, you've learned your trade well and you practice it with excellence. The hope is that you will be able to earn a good living. Obviously, your choice of profession affects your earning power greatly. For many people, the season when their earning is most effective occurs during their 30s, 40s, and 50s. During this phase of life, you should strive to take care of your family and prepare for your future. Well said. Return. We should always try to be generous, no matter what our age. But if you worked hard and planned well, you may enter a phase of life that is most rewarding, where you can focus on giving back to others. Most often, that occurs when people are in their 50s, 60s, 70s, and beyond. Margaret and I are planning how we hope to do that in our coming years. Obviously, these phases are generalizations, but they present a pattern for which to strive. If you are young, then you may be eager to leave the learning phase. Be patient, because the more diligent you go after phase one, the greater your potential to maximize the other phases. If you're older and you didn't lay a foundation for yourself, don't despair. Keep learning and growing. You still have a chance to finish well, but if you give up, you'll never go up. Reduce your debt. Michael Kidwell and Steve Rode, authors of Get Out of Debt: Smart Solutions to Your Money Problems, believe every person in debt is suffering from some type of depression. Debt is one of the leading causes of divorce, lack of sleep, and poor work performance. It is truly one of the deep, dark secrets that people have. It robs them of their self-worth and keeps them from achieving dreams. Going into debt for things that appreciate in value can be a good idea. Purchasing a house, securing transportation so you can work, improving your education, and investing in a business are good things, as long as you can manage them well. But many people incur debt for frivolous things. When you're still paying for something you no longer use or even have, it means trouble. Kidwell and Root suggest 5 steps to reduce debt. Number 1, stop incurring debt. Number 2, track your cash. Number 3, plan for the future. Number 4, don't expect instant miracles. Number 5, seek professional help. Don't let your possessions or your lifestyle possess you. If you're a slave to debt, find a way to free yourself. Number 3, put your financial formula in place. Someone once observed that the difference between the rich and the poor is that the rich invest their money and spend what's left, while the poor spend their money and invest what's left. If you haven't decided to plan your finances, you're headed for trouble. Put yourself on a budget. Create a financial formula that works for you. You may want to try the 10-10-80 approach that we use, but do something. The old saying is corny but true. Failing to plan is like planning to fail. Let's move to the second part, managing the discipline of finances. I have to admit that money has never been my number one motivation in life. Truthfully, finances were so low on my list of priorities that for a time I neglected them. which is probably why I didn't make my good life decision concerning finances until I was in my late 30s. But we have all seen that we have all seen what lack of good financial management can do to people in their twilight years. Recently, my son in law, Steve, and I went to eat at a restaurant when we were down in Florida, and a lovely lady in her mid 70s waited on us. Now, you never know another person's situation. Some people work into their 80s simply for the joy of work or to be with people. But I know that majority of people who keep working in physically demanding jobs during that season of life do it because they have no other choice. My friend financial expert Ron Blue says that the average annual income of people over age 65 is $6,300. In the case of a waitress, I sensed that she worked because she had no other options. So Steve and I left her a great tip. The next time you find yourself being waited on by senior citizens, you might want to do something for them. I'm still growing in the discipline of finances. I settled my personal financial issues years ago with 10-10-80, but it's been only in the last decade that I've learned to do better at finances in business. I used to focus on the vision for the organization, hire the best leaders I could find to join me in achieving it, and then lead to the best of my ability. I pretty much left the financial aspects of business to others. But my brother, Larry, took me to task for that attitude. He told me that I had no right to neglect business finances just because it was an area of strength or passion for me. So now, at home and in business, I maintain this discipline. Every day, I will focus on my financial game plan so that each day I will have more, not fewer options. The earlier you make the decision and practice the discipline of sound financial management, the more options you will have. To help you approach your finances every day with the right attitude, do the following. Number one, become a good earner. To become a good financial manager, you must have something to manage. That's why I believe the first discipline of finances is to maximize your earning potential. By that, I don't mean to neglect the other important areas of life in order to make a buck. Nor am I suggesting that your focus should always be on money. Just maintain a strong work ethic and learn how to make and manage money. Develop relationships with people who are successful in this area and learn from them. There are also plenty of good books about personal and business finances. Work ethic, on the other hand, is more about desire than knowledge. It comes from within. Anything can fuel that desire: the passion to serve others, the promise of escaping the circumstances of our birth, a vision for progress, or a personal passion. What often puts out the fire of desire is the belief that the work is too great for the return. If you find yourself thinking that you have it especially hard in your job or career, you might need to put things into perspective. Take a look at the rules that employees at McCory, Carriage, and Iron Works were asked to follow in 1872. Number one, employees will daily sweep the floors, dust the furniture, shelves, and showcases. Number two, each day fill lamps, clean chimneys, and trim wicks, wash windows once a week. Number three, each clerk will bring a bucket of water and a scuttle of coal for the day's business. Number four, make your pens your pens carefully. You may whittle nibs to individual taste. Number five, this office will open at 7 and close at 8 at 7 a.m. and close at 8 p.m. daily except on the Sabbath. Number six, men employees will be given an evening off each week for courting purposes, or 2 evenings if they go regularly to church. Number seven, every employee should lay aside from each pay a goodly sum of his earnings for his benefit during his declining years so that he will not become a burden upon the charity of his betters. Number 8. Any employee who smokes Spanish cigars, uses liquor in any form, gets shaved at a barber shop, or frequents public halls will give good reason to suspect his worth, intentions, integrity, and honesty. Number 9, the employee who has performed his labors faithfully and without fault for a period of 5 years in my service and who has been thrifty and attentive to his religious duties and is looked upon by his fellow men as a substantial and law abiding citizen will be given an increase of 5% per day in his pay, providing that just returns in his profits from the business permit. We enjoy a lot of advantages today that people didn't have in previous generations. One of them is that we don't have to fulfill the same expectations of those in previous centuries. With the right attitude and a willingness to pay the price, almost anyone can pursue nearly any opportunity and achieve it. Number two, be grateful every day. One of the most important things you can do for yourself is keep your perspective and be thankful for whatever you have. Poet Rudyard Kipling once told his audience while speaking at a graduation ceremony, "Do not pay too much attention to fame, power, or money. Someday you will meet a person who cares for none of these, and then you will know how poor you are." If you work hard and maintain an attitude of gratitude, you'll find it easier to manage your finances every day. Number 3, don't compare yourself to others. Whenever people start comparing themselves to others, they get into trouble. Comparisons of money and possessions can be especially detrimental. Wanting to keep up with the neighbors or appear well off gets many people into horrible debt. New Yorker financial writer James Surowiecki says, Americans have always been stricken by the disease that some have called luxury fever or affluenza. Even if we aren't rich yet, we'd like to look as if we were. If you see your neighbors buying new furnishings for their home, taking elaborate vacations and driving a new vehicle every year, does something stir inside you to do the same? That someone appears to be in circumstances similar to yours doesn't mean anything. Your neighbors might earn twice as much as you do, or they may be in a debt up to their eyeballs and 3/4 of the way to bankruptcy court. Don't make assumptions and don't try to be like someone else. Now, this is the last point amongst all of them. That is point number 4. Give as much as you can. Author Bruce Larson says, "Money is another pair of hands to heal and feed and bless the desperate families of the earth." In other words, money is my other self. Money can go where I do not have time to go, where I do not have a passport to go. My money can go in my place and heal and bless and feed and help. A man's money is an extension of himself. That's true of your money only if you're willing to part with it. Or to put it a more colorful way, as Hannah Anderson clothing company founder Gun Denhardt did, money is like manure. If you let it pile up, it just smells. But if you spread it around, you can encourage things to grow. My brother Larry recently gave me this quotation from Blaise Pascal. "I love poverty because Jesus loved it. I love wealth because it affords me the means of helping the needy. I keep faith with everyone." I've mentioned options a lot in this chapter. That may seem like a selfish word to you, but I have to tell you, for me, having options is about service. Philanthropist Andrew Carnegie said his goal was to spend the first half of his life accumulating wealth and the second half giving it away. What a great idea. My desire is to spend my future years giving to others. I won't be able to give on the scale that Carnegie did, but that's not important. What matters is that I do what I can by practicing financial discipline. Your financial decision today. Where do you stand when it comes to finances today? Ask yourself these 3 questions. Have I made the decision to earn and properly manage my finances daily? Yes. If so, when did I make the decision? A long time back, but today I made the decision to do the 10-10-80 principle. I think that's practical, a good way to start something. What exactly did I decide? That's what I decided. Your financial discipline every day, based on the decision you made concerning finances. What is the one discipline you must practice today and every day in order to be successful? I think I have to really see as to what is my financial state at the moment. How much do I keep? How much do I give? How much do I earn? All these things. And I think I need to sit down and write these very carefully. Well, that's about it for today. Think about it. How are you doing financially? How is your life? Did this chapter help you to look at those areas? Well, if it did, work on it. Thank you so much for joining in once again, and God bless you all. See you next time.